Hello everyone, this is Beni and welcome back to another bullet journal video. Today I'll be setting up my bullet journal for the second half of 2021. For this setup, I'll be using these two Tombow dual brush pens in the colors 942 and 977. I'll also be using a few different sizes of fine liners and a white Sakura jelly roll pen. I got this wicker basket from Hobby Lobby the other day along with this new candle holder that I'm using today. I think they're both really cute. Here you can see me looking through my washi tape collection, hoping to find a solid colored washi tape to match the colors, but I ended up having to settle for these two grid pattern tapes instead. First things first, I went ahead and wrote my name inside the cover, along with my username and the months that I'll be using this journal for. After adding a few strips of washi tape, it's time to create my index pages. As you can see, I wrote out the title with the darker brown Tombow, and then used that same marker to add drop shadows to the lettering. Afterwards, I go in with the lighter brown color to highlight every other line on the page. At that point, I decided to limit the amount of lines for the index, so I go in with my Sakura jelly roll to fix it up. Then I added a strip of washi tape along the bottom. I'm a little awkward as I figure out what exactly I want to do with the washi tape, but once I've figured it out, it's a much quicker process throughout the rest of the setup. Once I'm done with that, I repeat the same thing on the next side for a second index page. The first spread I'll be creating after the index is my very first grid spacing cheat sheet. I'm sure you've all heard of this by now, but if not, you should go check it out on Amanda Rach Lee's channel where she has a video explaining what it is and how to use it. Mine isn't quite the same as hers, but that's perfectly fine. This is just how I find it visually appealing and most functional for me. As you saw, I started off by numbering the spaces between dots along the top and left sides of the page, and then began outlining these rectangles that mark the different measurements across the page. I then wrote down the number of box spaces that each segment is within the boxes, and repeated the same thing for the vertical measurements with the light brown Tombow dual brush pen. I also added a dotted line to mark the halfway points on the page. Once all that is complete, the only thing left to do is add a title to the page, which is completely optional. Next up is my future log. I start off with my light brown Tombow by outlining the numbers before filling them in with the same color. I feel like this adds a really neat effect, and I'll definitely be using similar tricks in future plan with me's. Usually, I write out a bunch of mini calendars for each month and then list my events underneath. But I decided to try something different this time around by listing each day of the month down the side and highlighting the weekends. Instead of writing out numbers from 1 to 30 a bunch of times, I went ahead and only marked every 5th day and put small dots for the other days to save my hands some pain. It's about this time that my phone died and I didn't realize it right away, so here's a little flip through of what I completed during that time. Here you'll see the completed future log, a page for me to list holidays and birthdays, and a page for upcoming events and tasks in early 2022. This next page that I've started with by adding washi tape is my bill tracker. Right now I'm outlining the boxes that will soon become the individual trackers. There are 2 bigger ones for my credit cards, and then 2 smaller ones for my subscriptions to Spotify and Verve. I also have 2 yearly subscriptions that renew in December, so those will be listed at the bottom. For the first trackers, I have a row to write down the amount paid each month along with a checkbox below it to color in when the payment is made. The subscription bill trackers are the same thing, except they do not have spaces to write payment amounts since they are the same amount each month, which is listed to the side. It's a pretty simple setup, and it helps me a lot when it comes to keeping track of which monthly bills I've paid and which ones still need to be seen to. If you'd like to see the setup I used when I was living in my own apartment with rent, utilities, and a bunch of other monthly expenses, I'll leave a link in the description and add a card so you guys can check that out. As you can see, I left the page on the right side completely blank so that I can add or change my bill trackers as time passes. The next set of pages are my wish list and waiting on spreads. This time around, I decided to split my wish list into 2 different sections for wants and needs. Hopefully this, along with actually listing the price, will help me be more mindful of my spending and whether I really need the item I am purchasing. Plus, it'll be nice to have a list of wants to turn to when I feel like treating myself to something nice. It's about this time I decided that these darker brown titles were missing something. So I went in and added highlighting to the letters using my white Sakura Jelly Roll pen. And I think it made a huge difference, so I went ahead and added shine to my titles on the index as well. The next couple of spreads that I'll be creating are brand new to me, but I saw them in various other people's setups, and I thought it'd be interesting to try something new this time around. First up is a spread that lists how often I should wash or change different items, such as changing my toothbrush and car oil, or washing my bedding and my bathroom mat, as well as the interior and exterior of my car. On the page next to it, I have another spread that I saw in several videos on Cat's Planner that is meant to help keep track of when I last completed a task. In this case, I'll transfer everything I list on the left page over into this spread as well, and then add a mark whenever I complete the task during a particular month. That way I can see how long it's been since I washed or changed out that item and whether I need to get it done this month or not. The next spread is a very simple one to keep track of memories and milestones throughout the second half of the year. All I need to do is write out the little titles and draw out rounded boxes for the two sections, and it's ready to go. The spread on the other side takes a little more work. This is another new spread for me where I'll be tracking weekly goals by drawing out these 6 bars, one for each goal I want to work towards. Each box in the bar represents 1 week, and then I drew in small lines to separate the months just to help keep track of where I am in the year. The goals I want to track on this page are to work out more regularly, eat healthier foods, try to stay in a positive mindset, spend time outdoors, post content on Instagram, and keep up with my weekly YouTube videos. I'd also like to give credit to Kat's Planner for this spread idea as well. I love her minimalist yet cute themes and her bullet journal setups. It's about this time that I decided to take a break for lunch because I'd been working for a few hours already, and I highly suggest you also be sure to give yourself breaks from anything that takes up a good chunk of your time to help avoid burning out or becoming sore from sitting in the same position for a long time if you spend a lot of time at a desk or whatever else. We all need to remember to take care of ourselves. Anyways, the spread I'm currently working on is a monthly review spread that I saw in another video that I will also leave in the cards and in the description. Basically, I'll be writing out numbers 1 through 10 and repeating that till I have 10 rows of those numbers. I'll then do the same thing for each month until I have 6 sets. Each row of numbers in a month will correlate with a certain item or aspect of my life that I'd like to review by rating its quality on a scale of 1 to 10. For example, one of the things on my list is my mental health. If my mental health was pretty good throughout the month of June, then I will mark it anywhere from an 8 or a 10 in that row, and so on. The other things I will be reviewing each month include my relationships with people, my physical health and wellness, nutrition, fitness, the quality of my work and environment, my creativity levels, my social media activity, and how well I've done on saving money. Of course, you can always add or remove things as you see fit, but if you want the nice clean look of the squares, then be sure to keep 10 items in your list of things to review. On the next pages, I begin by drawing out small calendars for each month. For the sake of contrast, I gave the calendars thick outer borders and thinner lines within, and I love how it looks when it's all done. These calendars will be used to help me keep track of which days I post on social media. I will be tracking Instagram and YouTube for sure, though I'm still deciding whether I should also keep track of my other social media accounts as well, such as Twitter or DeviantArt. Another new thing I decided to try for the first time in over a year is a Dutch door. I've never had anything against cutting up the pages in my journals, I just never really had the urge to do so. But if you couldn't tell by all the new spreads, I'm just really in that mindset of wanting to explore and try new things, and hopefully discover something new that I enjoy. This next double spread is another really simple one with nothing more than round boxes and titles to go with them. This is my spread of things to check out, and the sections include movies, TV shows, games, and places. I always keep this spread fairly simple since it's a bunch of lists with check boxes and nothing fancy. On the next and final pages of this setup, I'll be drawing in a big chart on each page that is divided into columns. One page is for movies while the other is for TV shows. I've done something similar in the past for books as well as anime, but I went ahead and created separate journals for those things. I will probably include anime movies in these spreads, but anime shows will most likely continue to be tracked in my anime journal, so that it's all in one place. Unfortunately, the very end of this clip got cut off because the SD card in my phone ran out of storage space. But thankfully, I managed to almost finish before it cut off. I would have been so frustrated if I lost the clips for several spreads again, like I did earlier in the setup. Anyways, here's a quick flip through of how everything turned out. I really like how simple and cute it is, and I'd love to see what you guys came up with as well. So feel free to share your setups with me down below. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future videos. My filming setup will be changing very soon as I move out of my apartment, but I'll do my best to keep the same quality or possibly even improve it when the time comes. Either way, I hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase